So gray matter is your brain, and also a gray area is a place where maybe you're not sure what to do or how to help. A group calling themselves Gray Matters Collective empowers people to become mental health advocates and save lives. Haley DeGreve is here with more on what they do and how we can all step up, because this is just near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Haley?
Absolutely.
How long have you been working in this kind of, mental health area?
I've been speaking about mental health for about 4 to 5 years, but the Gray Matters has been in existence for 3 years now.
Gray Matters. I think that is so cool. I mean, do most people understand what we're talking about here, kind of that play on words of Gray Matters Collective?
I hope so. What we try to do is really try to communicate that mental illness is real, because you have gray matter in your brain, and sometimes a loss of gray matter can indicate that you're struggling with a mental health problem. And also at the same time to show that there is this gray area of trying to find help, but also sometimes on the flip side of it, someone who might not struggle with mental health but wants to help their friends and their family, and they aren't the experts, so they don't really know how to help. And that's really where we come in, is to show that you can make a difference.
Well, I know that your focus is on young people. That other sign said you are important every day, you are worth it always. These are words, phrases of affirmation that, these words don't fall on empty ears. We all need this, don't we, in our lives?
Yeah.
If you don't have someone speaking these things into your life, and you don't tell yourself it's okay to rest, as this sign says, your brain can become unhealthy.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
And some of it we're born with is illness. How do you explain that to people who don't understand that part of this equation, Haley?
Absolutely. Well, I think there's such a spectrum of it. There is a lot of gray area in this, because someone could be born with a mental illness, but also at the same time, you could have something traumatic happen in your life that could cause you to develop a mental health problem. Take, for example, the pandemic. That's why I think we are seeing so many young people struggling, is they've felt more isolated than ever before. But now we're coming out of this and starting to feel anxiety, social anxiety, and it's just something that we have to continue to normalize. Not romanticize, but normalize that conversation.
You like to talk about the problem of suicide and how common it has become. Just over the weekend, we lost Naomi Judd to mental illness, as her family has termed it.
Yep.
What did you think when you heard that, by the way?
It was heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because I have my own story with suicidal thoughts, and I've seen so many others who've made it to the other side, and unfortunately to see someone like her and so many others die by suicide and die by mental illness, like her family said, that's really the way that we should talk about these things, because oftentimes it isn't a choice. When you're in that moment, it's truly life or death, and you often aren't thinking about your friends or your family, you just want the pain to end.
Your shirt says, your life is important.
Yes.
And I know you wear that everywhere you can, because a lot of people don't believe that about themselves. Yeah,
yeah.
What is your favorite way to reach out that you have found makes an impact? I know you've got little merchandise, the Gray Matters, you matter, all these bracelets. What do you find really works?
I would say that personal connection, seeing people for who they are, hearing them, loving them in those moments, and just to check in, no matter where you think that person might be, whether they're struggling or maybe they're doing really well, just to check in and say, hey, I just want to make sure that you're okay, and I want you to know that I'm here and I love you. To tell people that you truly love them and you care about them, because when someone's struggling, they don't feel like they're seen, they don't feel like no one is there for them, and so to be able to reach out in those moments is really important, and to let everyone know that they do matter. And we found that on social media, that outreach can be really important as well.
It's this right here.
Absolutely, yeah. If you search our hashtag The Gray Matters, you'll find so many personal stories, and that's really what we're trying to do, is to show people that they're not alone, but most importantly through our own personal experiences as well, to say, hey, I've been there. I understand where you're at, but you can come out on the other side of this, and you can do that with the right resources and help.
And if you go to the Gray Matters, you'll see these people, all different ages and types of, I don't know if you have a stereotype of who you think struggles with this stuff, but you'll find everybody. It's all of us.
Absolutely. Mental illness doesn't discriminate. It's everyone, it's all of us, and that's really when we added the collective piece to our movement, was that we are a collective and we're working to change the world one person at a time, because if we can just help one more person, then that makes everything worth it, even if that person is you.
So true. Even if it's just yourself, that's where you got to start.
Absolutely.
These little boxes, where can we find these, and what do you have in them?
Absolutely. So every event that we go to or we host an event, we have all kinds of resources available, suicide hotline cards that we call them, that we try to hand out as much as possible to help people understand that you can call the suicide hotline if you're not even suicidal, if you just need someone to talk to.
Okay.
And you can also call the suicide hotline for your, someone else as well. So
these little boxes, you do call them the suicide card boxes.
Yep.
Meaning you grab a card out of that and it will give you a resource to call immediately where you can find help right then.
Yep, free, confidential, available 24/7.
So you have an event coming up, I think that's in a couple weeks then, would that be?
Yes, May 17th.
We are the collective, and what will happen with that? Real quick here, my dear?
Yes, so we are going to have a few students and speakers and so many other people coming together to make a difference for mental health.
Wow. Haley, I'm very impressed with what you guys have done, and thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
having you here today. We're going to wrap up for today's show. Your News at 4 up next.